How's that?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Take your hat off there, John. You got a shadow on you.
I was trying for the shadow.
You wanted a shadow on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I became rather good at disguising myself.
Okay. All right. Let me get my. Hopefully I know what I'm doing. I've learned a lot about videos.
I used to do video work. Now I don't want my nerves to let me.
Well, I'll show you here. Look at all these guys I got. That's my 12th tape in there now. You are number 12. Okay, what's your name?
John.
Middle name?
Lee.
L-E-E?
Mm-hmm. Swanner. S-W-A-N-N-E-R.
Date of birth?
November 4th, 1955.
Today is 6, what is it, 8th?
Yeah, 9.
9th? Okay.
They should require the police department to do that too.
Well, that'd be a good idea. This tells you were on tape 12. So
Okay.
100 years from now, your descendants can go down to the Portsmouth Public Library, pull off tape 12, and,
That's where I'll be.
yeah. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Hey, no problem.
I have a few questions to ask you. Now, you told me your name and your date. Where were you born?
I was born right here, what used to be General Hospital,
Okay.
over on South Trail.
In Portsmouth, Ohio.
Right.
Okay. And what is your present address?
1102 13th Street, Portsmouth, Ohio.
Okay. And your occupation currently?
Right now I'm retired.
Okay, from what?
From radio broadcasting for the most part.
Okay. How much education do you have?
I graduated, I've had a little college, not a significant amount, but a little bit.
Okay. Are you married, single, divorced?
Single.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay. Now, what are your parents' names? What is your mother's name?
Okay, my mother's name was Margie Cooper, that she married my dad, Margie Swanner. She's remarried now since my father's death, and she's Margie Newberry.
Margie Newberry. Okay. Now, what were her parents' names?
Viola and Elwood Cooper.
Okay. Now, Elwood Cooper, do you know his parents' names?
No, I don't.
Okay. And Violet,
Viola.
Viola.
Yeah.
What was her maiden name? You know?
I think it was Cassidy.
Okay.
I know we're related to the Cassidys and the Kamers, so that was Cassidy.
And then Viola, perhaps Cassidy Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know her parents' names?
No, I don't.
Okay. Now, where were they from?
From this area.
Okay. Now, that was your mother's parents, right? What was your father's name?
Arthur.
Arthur, and he's passed away.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what were his parents' names?
William and Anna. I'm trying to think of the last name now. Lucas.
Lucas was
William
her.
and Anna Lucas, yes.
Okay. Now, Anna Lucas was her maiden name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you happen to know their parents' names?
No.
Okay. Now, do you have any brothers and sisters?
I've got the 2 brothers.
Okay, what are their names?
Arthur Jr.,
Uh-huh.
he lives here in town on 7th Street,
Okay.
and Charles William, he lives out Route 140.
Okay. Where does he live on 140?
They call it the Ridge. I'm not quite sure, just I don't know, it's on top of one of the hills out there.
Okay. I go to 140 out, when I go home, go to South Webster, it's out 140. Now, do they have children?
Yes, Ed has, that we know of. Well, he's got 4 that I've raised,
Okay.
and he has 1 that his latest ex-wife has.
Okay. Do you know their names offhand?
Oh, yeah. There's Artie, Matthew, Stephanie, and Brandon.
Okay.
Those are the 4. He had 3 of those with Dee and 1 of those with another lady. I've raised all 4 of them.
Okay.
And Chuck's got Kenny and Charlie.
Okay.
and that's all he's got.
Now, your other brother, what's his name?
Ed and Chuck,
Chuck. How many children does he have?
2,
Two. What are their names?
Kenny and Carolyn.
Kenny and Charlie. Okay. I know that one thing that people will be interested in when they view tapes like this and already have expressed an interest is the genealogical line, and that's why I ask all this.
Well, actually, we're getting ready to do a computer search of our background.
Oh, really?
My nephew Brandon started one at school,
I see.
so he's going to continue on. Now we have a home computer, he's going to be continuing on that.
Okay. What's come up? Anything interesting?
Well, a part of our clan was from North Carolina, but that's not really the part that I'm interested in just yet. We originally began the Swanner clan in West Virginia.
Oh, I see.
When they came here, they came to West Virginia. That's where my father and his family are from.
I see. Okay.
And the relatives that, or I don't know of any Swanner relatives, but I have met a couple of people that have my same last name, same spelling, and they've never met anyone outside their immediate family either.
Okay.
And the ones I've met so far from Tennessee, and my ex-wife met one in Illinois, and I met one in Virginia,
Oh,
who was
okay.
from Tennessee.
Probably all related, aren't you?
They were all in the military, we were all related.
Okay.
All in the Air Force, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Did you enlist?
Yes.
What year? When is your enlistment date?
December of 1976,
Okay. And when were you discharged?
in January of 1981.
Okay. What was your rank on discharge?
E4,
Okay. And were you in the Air Force, you say?
Air Force.
Any other branch?
Nope,
Just
all Air Force.
Okay. Now, when you were in the Air Force, where did you do your basic training?
In Lackland.
That's in San Antonio,
San
Texas.
Antonio,
isn't it?
Texas, yes.
Okay.
Not a real pleasant place. San Antonio is nice, Lackland was.
I was at Fort Sam Houston there.
Yeah, it wasn't that far away.
Not bad at all. And after basic, how long was basic? 8 weeks, 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Where did you go for
I went
additional
to,
training?
Keesler Air Force Base, Biloxi, Mississippi,
Okay. What did they train you
as what's called an aerospace control and warning systems operator.
as? Okay.
Glorified air traffic control.
Okay. What air traffic control meaning that you would be concerned? Explain that a little bit.
Okay, my job was to take fighter aircraft, give them ground-based support, put them on the target in a position where they can kill the target and not get killed themselves.
Okay.
And to ensure they don't fly into each other.
That's always a good idea.
And that became rather difficult sometimes.
Oh, really? They wanted to fly in each other all
Pilots,
the
they don't
time?
really understand that two pieces of matter can't occupy the same space, that kind of thing.
Now, did you go overseas any?
No,
So, where you were at Keesler, you were at Lackland, where else were you?
then I went to a place called Fort Lee. It's in Petersburg. It's an Army base
Fort Lee is
in Virginia, Petersburg, Virginia. Yeah.
Okay.
I was on we were on the back end of the Army base. We were the NORAD head, I can say that now because it's gone. We were the NORAD headquarters for the entire East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Our responsibility went from basically the Canadian border all the way around to Galveston, Texas.
Mhm.
That was divided up into 2 parts. Tyndall had one, Tyndall, Florida, and we had the rest, but we were still the headquarters, we were the overseer.
Mhm.
And they figured by sticking us at the back of an Army base, no one would know we were there.
Mhm. Okay.
And it seemed to work.
Okay. What was your job there, if you could tell me?
Well, I had several, but you progress up the ladder. I began life as what's called a surveillance technician. These are the guys that watch the radar to spot incoming unknown aircraft. I started out as that, then I moved into the ID section, which you've seen in the movies where the klaxon goes off and they have like a jet getting ready to go, you have 3.5 to whatever, to identify the object. That's what I was in for a while.
Mhm.
Then I moved into what was called weapons. That was the actual control of the fighter aircraft itself. And in the event of war, we would be the ones fighting the war.
Mhm. Okay.
And from there, I kind of split off, got into the training shop, became an instructor, and also got involved heavily in the war games aspect of it.
Mhm. That sounds interesting, the war games.
Yeah, we had a war game when I was there, and the scenarios were just totally off the wall. We're talking science fiction.
Mhm.
And my argument was, if we're training for war, then why don't we train for what we're likely to see?
Mhm.
Not to be just, they were treating exercise as just a way to trip guys up. And I thought it should go over training tools, so I was told to put up or shut up. They put me in there, so I helped design them, and I usually played the bad guys.
Okay, you were the bad guys.
Yeah, I never lost either.
Really?
Never.
Now, how long were you there at Fort Lee?
I was there the whole 4 years.
The rest of the time? Okay.
I had an assignment, but they canceled it because I was in the exercise shop and they considered that critical manning and left me where I was.
Did you spy on Cuba any or anything like that?
We didn't exactly spy on them, but we were involved, like with the Grenada episode. There were some spy aircraft down there, and we offered some aircraft cover for them.
I see.
The Cubans were threatening them, and we sent some aircraft down to see how serious they were.
Okay.
I did have occasion, this was in 1980, because I called it a realism ploy. I did have occasion to play tag with 2 Russian bombers.
Oh, how'd you do that?
Bear 95. The Russians had it, and we did it to them, so they did it more to us. You see the pictures of the bears. Well, what they do is they come across the Atlantic Ocean, of course, and they would see how far they could penetrate inside our air defense zone before we intercept them. It became just a game after a while because we knew they were up there. Because while they were doing that, they would rotate the bears out of Cuba that they had down there. But we couldn't see that, but after a while, it just became a game. And I did get occasion to roust a couple of them.
Okay. What do you mean rouse? Send up fighters?
Send up fighters. Actually had a whole sky full of them because I chased them all the way down to Florida.
Oh, okay.
From New York to Florida. You tried to sneak in with the airliners.
What do you mean?
Well, there are, picture a bunch of superhighways in the sky. Okay, and airliners stick to those superhighways. There's several going in and out of New York, Washington, up and down the coast. And what they would do is they didn't have a transponder on there that would squawk what we needed. So they would turn everything off and nestle up in amongst the airliners, hoping that we would just see the airliner because they were squawking and wouldn't see them.
Did that ever work?
It worked quite well on some occasions, never while I was there.
Okay.
We got pretty good at it.
Well, you were there the whole rest of the time. What big city is that near?
The biggest city was Richmond. But where it was located, I had a chance to go to New York, down to Florida, to Atlanta, Washington, D.C. Because with the 95 being right there, you simply could go anywhere you wanted on the East Coast. Right. It was right on 95.
Did you like the Air Force?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I actually would have made a career out of it, but I kind of let my ego get the best of me.
Well, how did that happen?
It was one of our war games. I embarrassed the colonel. He was being a jerk, and I embarrassed him.
Okay.
And but he thought, because the paperwork had been put in for my extension. I hadn't said yes to reenlistment yet, but I was going to. They let me extend. And he caught me in the hallway one day, gave me a serious dressing down, and started making my life miserable and friends of my life miserable because they were my friends. I said, I don't need this.
Okay. Well, you wish you'd stayed in then?
I definitely wish I'd have stayed in. Because my career was planned. I didn't have a choice. The Air Force already planned out my career. I was going to go to Tyndall, Florida and retire there.
I see. That'd been nice.
Well, they were redesigning the air defense package. And our training shop had gotten very high marks towards the end. And they were going to move our whole training shop down. I probably would have had to do one stay in Alaska. And that was either Murphy Dome or
Elmendorf?
No, there was another one. It's in the ice, inside the ice. But they're very nice places to be. I'll have to do one up there and then come back to Tyndall.
Have you ever kept in touch with anybody you served with?
We scattered pretty well, especially after the breakup, because I was home when they closed down at Fort Lee and shipped everybody else off.
I see.
I kept in contact when I first got out, but then lost track of them.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your time in the military?
Well, it gave me a chance to travel. It gave me a chance to meet people from different walks of life and different cultures. And that's something everybody should do. It opens up your understanding of different people and the way they think.
Okay.
I enjoyed it down south. I loved Virginia.
Did you have any experiences that were notable for one reason or another? Other than the job sounds interesting. I mean, you got any tattoos you want to talk about or anything like that?
No tattoos. I did get involved in sports down there in a very heavy. Now, I was never politically correct enough to play here. When I got down there, and the only thing that mattered was talent, I got a chance to play. So that got us a chance to move around.
What'd you play?
I played everything until I hurt my back, and I just played softball. That's where that's where my trophies and such came from. But I had, from softball, the Army could never beat us. We were on an Army base, and it was a standing weekend pass to any team that beat us. So we had a good time with that. Some of those got a little touchy. But the year that I played, we won everything. We actually went to Langley Air Force Base and played tournaments there. We were all up and down the East Coast, played even some civilian tournaments. Got to meet a lot of people that way, which is different from the military, because they're all civilians.
Now, after you got out of the service, did you come back to Portsmouth right away, or what?
Yeah, I came straight back here. We had illness in the family, so I came back here.
Then what did you take up? What did you do?
No, I was thinking about college at the time, which became a never-ending thing with me thinking about it. And I started to go, and then one day someone knocked at my back door. It was a friend of mine, and he'd been hired by a local radio station to do basketball games. There was just one problem. He had never seen a basketball game, didn't know nothing about the game. So he asked me if I'd help him.
Is this person still working in radio?
No, not around here. I could drive him out of town, actually. But he asked if I'd help, so I did. And that got me hooked into the broadcasting.
Oh, wow. And then how long were you with that?
About 12 years.
Okay.
So I've worked at all the local radio stations. Had several successful programs at each one. I'm proud of that. The ability goes back to my war game. I was able to put together a program people would like. I didn't think I was that good on the air, but I could put together a good program.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about your military or anything?
Well, I'd like to say about the military being a great opportunity. It really was. I didn't take full advantage of it, but you should, with the college benefits and such. And so just to be able to experience life outside of Portsmouth. You know, we're a very, I don't want to say special or strange, but kind of a mixture here. We have things the way we want them. If you get out into the world, you can see how other people do things. It opens up your eyes to a lot.
Well, I appreciate your coming up. We might tell you this interview is taking place in my office in the Fifth Third Bank on Chillicothe Street, Portsmouth. So, okay, well, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it very much. Yeah. All right. That's that.
I get to keep this?
You get to keep that. Keep that with your stuff, and like I say, 100 years from now, your descendants will find that and say, "Oh man, let's go down there and see that."
When are they going to be at the library?
I think it depends on how much more tape I have on this one. I thought you might be the last one. I knew we had enough for you, but if I've got one more on there, I'll put it on there, and then it'll go down.
Let me know when it's down there. Go down and check it out.
You'll go down and check yourself out. Okay.
Yeah, well, I won't. My family will. I've seen me on TV before.
All right.